Nuclear weapons are an existential threat to humanity. There are 13,000 nuclear weapons in the world. There are 9 countries that have nuclear weapons. And today, we're in a new nuclear arms race. This time, it's a multipolar nuclear arms race rather than the bipolar situation of the Cold War. So you have Pakistan and India involved. You have Israel and China. You have the United States and Russia. And the practice of nuclear deterrence, which has been the dominant policy practice around nuclear weapons, which is about threatening other countries in order to prevent large-scale aggression against your country, the processes we use to manage that practice of deterrence are breaking down, or they're being radically disrupted by artificial intelligence or new forms of remote sensing, social media, all of these new technologies and other geopolitical dynamics. In this context of rising nuclear threats, every country on Earth has an official policy goal of seeking the elimination of nuclear weapons. For most countries on Earth, that's not just a policy goal, it's a legally binding obligation. This project, Theories of Change for Nuclear Disarmament, is about exploring ways that we can understand how we can work towards that goal.
The issue of nuclear weapons is often perceived as a problem of the past, an antiquated issue, something that was solved as the Cold War ended. But today, a number of analysts and leaders, including the UN Secretary General, claim that the dangers of nuclear weapons actually being used are on the rise, and even the highest they've been in a very long time, perhaps ever. Nuclear weapons also affect us today in a direct sense through the legacies of past nuclear testing, through impacting global cancer rates, but also a number of local communities. The issue of nuclear weapons also intersect with contemporary challenges like climate politics. Not only would nuclear war probably have major climate consequences, but nuclear politics and great power rivalry also helps condition the possibilities in other areas of international politics like climate negotiations and climate mitigation efforts. In this project, we're also very interested in how future developments in the realm of climate politics might impact on the nuclear world. How might, for example, major transformations or disruptions caused by runaway climate change impacts possibilities for nuclear disarmament?
We see this project as addressing a major gap in the field of international relations, which we think the disciplinary tools of that field have not been significant to conceptualize change towards nuclear disarmament. There are theories of nuclear proliferation, for example, but disarmament is something that has not received a lot of attention. So what we're doing is we're trying to establish a rigorous and interdisciplinary conversation about how change happens with scholars from all kinds of different scholarly disciplines. And what we want to do is make sure that is an interdisciplinary dialogue that is ongoing, that enables us to go away after this fellowship and continue looking into these insights and exploring the issue of nuclear disarmament with these scholars. And crucially, I think, we're not seeking to theorize and tell people how nuclear disarmament should be achieved. We're seeking to explain the theories of change by which that can happen. So although we are very committed in our own ways to disarmament, this is an explanatory theory building project.
In this project, we are looking at a number of different approaches to change. Some questions we are interested in include: what historical examples could we draw upon to inform a theory of nuclear disarmament? How can national identities transform entrenched political practices around nuclear weapons? How could decentralization of power influence nuclear disarmament? This includes decentralization of information, violence, and money. How can we make alternative futures, socio-technical imaginaries of a world without nuclear weapons, thinkable? Personally, I am interested in questions such as: how can nuclear disarmament be part of a project of dismantling colonial legacies and structures? Is violence a mechanism to change a violent system? And how can we understand the mythology associated with nuclear weapons, especially nuclear deterrence, and the almost religious faith in nuclear weapons?